Hi and welcome to MyCTOfriend, the place where non-technical founders build successful startups by improving their tech management skills. I'm Amaury and today I'm going to answer a question from Stephane, the co-founder of a consulting company. His question is, how to productize a service with a SaaS platform? Before answering this question, let's add a bit of context. Stephane has a huge experience as a consultant with lots of knowledge and know-how to industrialize. That gave him the idea to build a web platform that could facilitate its final client's work and enable them to reach their goals almost automatically. In fact, if you want to build a startup, that also means building a fast-growing business. That also means that it's possible only by industrializing manual tasks and creating lots of tools for it. Let's see how it works with a schema. Building a startup is not an overnight success. It takes years to have overnight success. So it's all about envisioning what can be your solution by the end. That's basically your vision. And maybe your vision is to provide 70 to 80% of the value automatically. You will still need some customer services, etc., which mean a bit of manual tasks as well. But starting to build this solution will usually not work, not at all. Why? Because your current client or maybe users are now here, which means they do things manually or they ask you to do things manually. How do you want them to imagine or to maybe move from what they are used to something which is far away from it? It's going to take a long time for them to get there. And the solution is simple. It's just to create some steps towards it. To be able to provide them maybe a first small value here, which is going to be automatic, maybe 10 or 15% automatic, then 30%, etc., and maybe 50%. Let's see for Stephane work how does this translate. So if like Stephane, you are an expert in your industry and you know how things work in detail and now you want to industrialize this industry, let's see how you can create your first SaaS solution. The goal will be to analyze every single task that you do on a regular basis if you do things manually or if your client do things manually. Like for a consulting agency, as example, that have a huge expertise, maybe they have some onboarding. After the onboarding, maybe they do a quotation. Then they plan. Then, etc., they find resources. They create the solution or they provide the value, basically. At the end, you have the retrospective, etc. So the entire process that you need to do. That's just an example for consulting, but it can be the same thing if you would create Uber or if you would like to create, any type of shared economy. That's going to be exactly the same process. You need to analyze how you're going to bring someone to the point A to a point B. Then on this, start to analyze what can you industrialize in a very simple way. And usually that's going to be like onboarding. Simple. That's going to be maybe a form or maybe an acquisition. Maybe you are, instead of having word of mouth to acquire users, you are going to use inbound marketing as example, etc. For the quotation, same thing. Maybe you can industrialize the way you quote your proposal. The plan, I do believe that you can create some video content, etc. Find resources. Maybe that's more where we come to a SaaS solution, and maybe here you are going to create a search engine, the first version of your web platform with a database inside, etc. do keep in mind that you need not only to provide a solution, but to educate your clients. Educate your clients to use correctly your solutions, as well as to do some good job in terms of finishing what they need to, achieving and reaching their goals. Okay, so basically, do not start by creating your platform. Start by providing services to your client, to your targeted market. Then industrialize small parts of the service until the point where you will need to create a SaaS platform. And if you want to develop something, or if you have to develop something, start as small as you can. Just create this search engine, just create just a back office where people will be able to find their information, etc. Small things. You cannot create your the platform you envision in 5 years over a month. You will have to go one step at a time. So what I want you to take out of this video is to never invest right away in the product you envision. Even if you can afford it, invest instead on the very first step that will provide a smaller value to your customers, and ensure that your customers are willing to pay for this first value before to add another automation on your customer experience. And it's also a matter of change management. You cannot anticipate everything, every customer's behaviors. So learn by working with them. So to conclude and answer Stephane's question, don't get confused with visions and your next step. Start with a very small step that will provide value to your customers by having your final visions of your product in mind. Now, if like Stephane, you have a specific question for your project, just go ahead and ask on myctofriend.co/ask. I will do my best to answer your question by video or to redirect you to an existing content that will answer it. I publish new video every week, so subscribe now to be better at tech management and build your successful startup. And be also sure to go through our other content at myctofriend.co to learn more from real startup growth experiences. Waiting for your question, I look forward to seeing you in other videos. Cheers!